This interview was not only better, it was more of a pleasure to conduct, sir. Yes.
Really time.
Okay.
It's always good to talk to another asshole.
Got it right here.
DVD! That's right.
We were watching a DVD, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, what a super kick that was.
Knocked his head off from here to Japan. All the way.
And now Balls is getting rid of that setup of the chairs for whatever reason. And now Balls Mahoney said something about him dying, I think, or you want to see him knock him down. I couldn't really hear what he said, to be honest.
It's hard to hear it. Someone's at ringside. Who is that?
A girl is at ringside and just distracted Pat Savino by putting Pat's,
face into her bosoms.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God! Wow! Lights out, lights on, lights out.
Absolutely.
And Balls Mahoney
I guess that answer.
A win there against No Life Louis Ramos.
He started the fire, and it went right in Louis' face, and he got the victory.
Fireball victory from Balls Mahoney on Low Life Louis Ramos. I see Anthony DiBlasi on the outside there. Do you see him?
Absolutely.
This guy, Anthony DiBlasi, for those that don't know and did not get Violent by Nature, and you should buy it right now, rfvideo.com. But for those that don't know, on this last DVD, DiBlasi was the man who sent Abdul the Butcher after him. Then after the attack of Abdul the Butcher, Mana came after him as well. So,
that's right.
Now DiBlasi's got a lot of beef there with Lowlife, and he's stalking Lowlife Louis Ramos. And, he's checking it. Let's see what he's going to say. Lowlife was trying to attack DiBlasi, but he got attacked, I think, by Ken Sweeney on the outside there.
Are you kidding me?
Hang on a hit.
To stop your undefeated streak a year ago. And I've been sending all these people out here to try to get this fire back in you. I should not be standing in front of you right now and cursing you out. You're doing nothing right now. I saved the money.
Well, if Lowlife Louis Ramos up and Ken Sweeney drops it, but DiBlasi did get knocked out as well.
Ken Sweeney, the
what a matchup it was. Great matchup all the way through. Balls Mahoney, Lowlife Louis Ramos. DiBlasi getting attacked on the outside. We got more action coming up.
I had Dynamite Kid come out here and proclaim himself the hardcore champion. And what did you do? You sat in the back and look at baby pictures. While a man speaking out came out here and won that title, you did nothing.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy as Don Tony gives you news and reviews from AEW.
Welcome to the party! Oh my God! Thanks for coming, Sammy!
NXT.
And it's over! Kross is here to ransack NXT soul!
And indie wrestling. It's Wednesday night, Dynamite.
Know what's happening in the world of wrestling without the hate and clickbait. And now, your host, Don Tony.
Joe is gonna kill you. Joe is gonna kill you. Joe is gonna kill you. We wanted it. It's coming, everybody. Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross. I say definitely give me more. Give me more of that. I tell you, what a fun 24 hours of wrestling. NXT 2 hours last night. AEW, phenomenal 2 hours tonight. How is that crowd in Texas? Awesome. Everybody who tunes into this later on, who was live at AEW tonight in Texas, bravo. Bravo. You know, I tell you, it's so cute to, like browse on social media while AEW was on tonight live. And I saw a whole plethora of people saying like, why are they chanting Ricky Starks? He's the heel. Why are they chanting Ricky Starks? He's the heel. Maybe for 18, 19 months, all these wrestling fans couldn't go to a live fucking event. Just like WrestleMania, that you get some live fans back. They're going to pop for everything. That crowd, man, pandemic is not officially over. There's a lot of people out there that are still sick with COVID. There are others that will get it. There are others that will die from it. But there are a lot of other illnesses that people will die of as well. We need to be careful. But as far as wrestling goes, tonight, it felt awfully good to be a wrestling fan. To see not only live fans in attendance, but droves of live fans. Not only getting live fans in attendance, but getting them right around ringside. Not 6 feet up in the air like they were doing to take some extra precautions. Seeing the wrestlers brawl into the crowd, Sting, Gallows. Beautiful. Great night of wrestling. And you know what was even better about tonight? AEW did what Bully Ray and a lot of others have been telling them to do. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. WWE has shown me more love than any other promotion out there. But if I was AEW, fuck WWE. Fuck NXT. We talked about it on Monday. I had no problem with Eddie Kingston's promo on the last show, because he wasn't trying to disrespect the wrestlers in WWE. He was just talking about the overall climate, and he was basically trying to knock home the message that AEW cares more intimately about their fans. They should. They're not $1 billion company. They are a very small company with some decent momentum. And look, you see that many fans there live tonight. I don't care if half the building was comped. They came out to see a great night of wrestling. They were having fun. They were into it. And I love it. It's about time, as far as wrestling goes, we could start feeling a little bit of normalcy on TV. I've talked about Thunderdome. I was on it 10 times. The last ever match on Thunderdome, the last visual you will ever see is Deli Man sitting ringside. Rhea Ripley pinning Natty. Thought that was pretty cool. But nothing compares to live fans. As the weeks go by and you start feeling more and more that we're getting back to a little bit of normalcy in the world of pro wrestling, the more you'll get angry like I did last year of all those people that clickbaited that pro wrestling was not going to have fans come back, no live house shows, no this, no that, no this. They don't have a goddamn clue. So anyway, tonight we will talk about NXT. We will talk about AEW. I have this much in the notes department. I don't think you need to have tons of notes. over the last 2 days because both shows were so good. If you need to memorize specific highlights, yeah, I have cheat notes so I don't leave anything out. But if you can't remember specific highlights tonight, something's wrong with you. I will say this. By the way, welcome everybody. Thank you for your support as always. Much love. Big shout out to everybody who hung out Monday night. That was a special episode, man. Between the call-ins and the discussion, and I mean, from beginning to end, that was a special episode, and it was not planned that way. Sometimes when you plan the least, you end up with the best, right? Out of the last 24 hours of wrestling, one thing just boggles my mind. And I don't know if it boggles your mind also, but I did research during Dynamite tonight to make sure it was correct. And I pretty much figured it would be correct because I don't think AEW would make a claim like that without really doing some extensive research. And not only doing the research, checking with the two guys themselves. But can you believe that before tonight, Christian Cage never had a singles victory against Matt Hardy? I mean, I know some of you out there are younger and maybe weren't, old enough or even alive during the Attitude Era, experiencing Edge and Christian versus the Hardys in real time, add in the Dudleys as well. And you think of everything that went on, and to think that he never got a win on a one-on-one match with Matt Hardy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now, let's be honest. The minute they threw that stat out there tonight, you knew Christian Cage was winning. You don't throw a stat like that out there and then he loses, especially when you remind everyone that he's been undefeated since he's been in AEW. So I'm totally fine with that. And you know what? Seriously, it was not a bad match tonight at all. And I know I might be a little bit extra excited because of the energy from the fans. It resonates at home. You feel it. I can only imagine the adrenaline rush by all the wrestlers that competed. I show a lot of my indie wrestling crap, the stuff I did back in the day, and it's not very good. It's fun to look back at those times. I miss it. I hope to do some more again very, very soon. Wink, wink. But I tell you, when people say to me like, oh my God, vicious chair shot, vicious this, getting a bottle broken over my head, this, that. When you have fans there and people are loud and people are popping, that adrenaline rush is something that you can't describe. I mean, and for me to be on this level to do that, you imagine what it's like to be in front of 10,000 plus in attendance? My God, seriously. I know over the years, pro wrestling has had perfumes and colognes in bottles. They've put wine and champagne and bubbly in bottles. Man, if there was any way to bottle that energy and that feeling, that adrenaline, oh my God, seriously, I'll OD on it. That's how awesome it is. So props to the live fans tonight. And guess what? Friday's going to be interesting. Now, tomorrow on Q&A, AMA, we'll do live calls all night. So if you want to call in, tomorrow's the night to do it. We'll talk about Friday SmackDown, what we think is going to happen. We'll talk about a whole bunch of things tomorrow. But I'll say this now. It's going to be interesting because I think there's going to be moments during SmackDown where the crowd is going to sit with their hands on their asses. I think very, very quickly. And I think the reason being is because WWE is so business as usual. Even the Thunderdome stuff. I talked about it. I know a lot of you talked about it as well. We thought they may do something where, somebody starts destroying Thunderdome. When they did the stuff with Lashley, maybe Lashley starts dismantling LED screens. Something. And not only did they not do that, they went off the air with the Raw logo in the corner. No highlights of, I shouldn't even say highlights at Thunderdome, because Thunderdome, let's be honest, as much fun as I had, nothing replaces fans. Not even a thank you. Not even a thank you for all the fans that took part in that. Business as usual. So we'll talk about WWE tomorrow and on Friday. Friday, I'll do predictions for Money in the Bank. I'll also do predictions for Slammiversary. Quite a few of you requested that. And tonight, it's about AEW and NXT. Now, very quickly, a couple of random thoughts going through my mind tonight. And yes, this might be a little bit of nitpicking, but I get a kick out of how they want to instill in our brain that the FTW Heavyweight Championship is not recognized by AEW. Yet the referee proudly displays it in the air. Yet Justin Roberts proudly talks about that it's the heavyweight title match, the new champion, this and that. I mean, I understand in the record books, it will not be listed in AEW's record books, but man, you don't need to keep instilling that. Ricky Starks winning that tonight. First of all, awesome that he's back from his neck injury. It's about 3 months. Early on, I tell you, that match with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks was a little bit off. And I honestly think that, you know, when you suffer a neck injury, I don't care how long you've been in the ring or how little, I don't care what profession you're in. You know, when you get a neck injury and you return to your line of work and the neck becomes some factor in some way, shape, or form, that can mentally rattle you. And I'm sure early on, and yeah, they worked out in the ring. You know, it's not like Ricky Starks just got out of bed today and said, yeah, this is my first day back in the ring. He's been wrestling in the ring, preparing for today. But once you go out there and the cameras are on you and it's live and there's no double takes, you take certain shots, that's got to emotionally rattle you a little bit, especially if you feel, you know, a little bit of, you know, gremlins going on in there. The neck injury was not extremely serious. It was almost like a hairline. You know, you can't speed up the recovery. There's no, you know, there is cement. There is cement that you can put in, like, you know, your spinal column or certain areas. But with that, yeah, that's not the case with him. But, you know, his match with Brian Cage, you know, it was okay. It was all right. I mean, if you look at the match closely, Powerhouse Hobbs kind of like screwed up a little bit because Hobbs, when Green Hook was distracting the referee, Hobbs climbed the ring apron. And no, they were not trying to play off that Hobbs was telling Brian Cage that he was going to hit Ricky Starks with the belt. Brian Cage pretended like he didn't see Hobbs climb the apron, and he set himself a little bit too soon. But man, that pop, you know, Ricky Starks has wrestled in Texas, you know, so that's one of the reasons why he got as big of a pop as he got tonight. But my God, we're finally getting live fans back at wrestling. They're energized. You know, people, let me put it this way, and I say this with respect, for the blue check marks out there and the podcasts and the journalists that were all saying tonight, like, Bizarroland, why are the fans cheering for Ricky Starks? Why are they cheering for Team Taz, the heels? Nice to feel like we're back to normal, right? Nice. That's a sign we're getting back to normal. When they're immediately questioning that, we're getting back to normal. Another thing tonight, I'm a little confused about. Jon Moxley successfully retained his IWGP United States Championship against Karl Anderson. Excellent match, a lot of fun. Eddie Kingston coming out with Moxley, wild thing, blaring in the speakers. He comes out with a pipe, gets into it with Gallows a little bit. Now, they went out of their way to tell us that this title is defended under New Japan rules, New Japan Pro Wrestling rules. Okay, fine. If that's the case, how does Lance Archer put himself in a Texas death match next week and Moxley's cool with it? What happened to this title is defended under IWGP rules? I'm just nitpicking, guys and gals. But, little things like that, you got to kind of tighten up a little bit. Maybe I missed it, but Moxley should say something like, I just got the okay from New Japan Pro Wrestling that next week, Texas death rules. And then he could trash talk Lance Archer. I thought tonight was a lot of fun. Let's get into the match. Oh, a couple other random tidbits that I took little notes for. I got to bring up before anything. I say this comedically. Go back and watch the pull apart between Malachi Black and Cody. I liked it. The visual was great. Cody wearing all white, Malachi Black wearing all black. I mean, that is perfect superhero villain. White, black. Not skin color, but, white. But one thing I couldn't help but laugh at, and you have to watch it, not just on a still shot, you got to watch the video to see what I'm talking about. I got a freeze frame here, and unfortunately, I did not watch Dynamite through the computer. I watched it through the TV. So I had a difficult time trying to find a high definition screenshot of it. But I want you to look at this in the lower right-hand corner. And the funny thing about it is, you see that referee that's in the lower right-hand corner that is looking towards Cody and he's kind of like pointing? He does not have his hands on Aleister Black, Malachi Black whatsoever. If you watch that segment, Aubrey Edwards is holding Malachi back with one arm. The almighty Aubrey Edwards. The almighty, all-powerful. Dun, 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 dun. She's holding him back with one arm. No one else. I couldn't help but laugh at that. I know it's nitpicking, but the visual... See, I know Jim Cornette goes out of his way to rip a lot of stuff about AEW, even if it didn't deserve to be ripped. I wonder if he's going to bring up on how Aubrey Edwards, with one arm, was holding Malachi back. But still an excellent segment. For those last week that were complaining, oh, he goes Cody. Right away, Cody's got to put his... Yeah, exactly. That's what you do. What we have to wait and see is where this goes from here. Now, Malachi Black cutting a promo tonight, why he did what he did to Arn Anderson last week. And he tells us a story. He tells us about someone that he knew who had a prize racehorse. Now, again, I have virtually no notes. I just have a couple of bullet points. So maybe a couple little details might be left out. But he tells a story how he knew someone who killed his prize racehorse. And it's kind of like similar to Old Yeller. Tommy N knows this guy, put his racehorse down, and he asked the guy, why did you kill your horse? And he said he had this prize racehorse that was young and vibrant, and this and that. And then it got old. And then it couldn't do what it used to do. So what the owner did was he took a bunch of treats that the horse loved and a plastic bag or a paper bag and took him out wherever, deserted area, and gave the horse treats, then put a bag over the horse's head and blew his brains out. Put it out of its misery. That's kind of like what Tommy End was doing with Arn Anderson. Yeah, you see, if that was WWE, WWE would never dare let anybody cut a promo that they knew someone who put a bullet in the head of any animal. That's the little subtle differences between AEW and WWE. That's why I'm not really concerned about Malachi Black and AEW, because Tony Khan will give him the creative freedom to do a little bit more than he would be able to do in WWE. Don't be worried about Malachi Black's promos. Do not be worried about who he feuds with. Do not be worried about his in-ring work. Do not be worried about pull-aparts and this and that. The Aubrey Edwards thing, I was just laughing, but I love the segment. The only thing you have to keep in the back of your mind are the outcomes of these feuds. There's a lot of people that are still pissed off about Anthony Ogogo losing to Cody. But Anthony Ogogo's career and Tommy End's career are two totally different, totally different. Ogogo has just begun. Tommy End, already established, arguably could be main eventing pay-per-views. So do not compare the two. Let's sit back, enjoy it, and let's see where it goes. Pretty confident that Malachi Black, Tommy End, Aleister Black, whatever you want to call him, I think he is going to do just fine in AEW. Andrade, though, you know me, man. I love my Charlotte Flair. I love watching her on TV. To me, she is the number one wrestler, women's wrestler in the last 20 years. And Asuka I put as a close second, only because Asuka's promos, there's only so much you could go, oh, no, you got to be able to verbally beat the shit out of your opponent. Trust me. A lot of you experience it on Twitter. You could verbally assault your opponent and make them feel like this. Now, obviously, in WWE, they don't go to bullying route. But when you verbally can destroy your opponent, kind of like what Adam Cole did to Karrion Kross a month ago, although I've said, and I've reiterated 1,000 times, it's a little bit unfair because Adam Cole has been seasoned and building with promos for quite a few years. And Karrion Kross is only starting to get the guidance to be acclimated to WWE and the style and everything like that. So it wasn't Kross's fault. But when you verbally destroy someone, if you're a fan of that person, you fucking love it. You live vicariously through that person. If you're a fan of the other person, you come up with a trillion excuses as to why that person sucks. Adam Cole, he works in a gas station. Newsflash, everybody. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. When Karrion Kross took on Gargano yesterday, it's entertainment. Props to NXT and WWE for doing the right thing and having Kross pretty much just destroy Johnny Gargano. But people getting like batshit emotional, like making fun of all the fans of Johnny Gargano because Johnny Gargano is a smaller guy that does like more high-flying stuff. I mean, you know, I could see like 15-year-olds doing that. But when you got like older adults and senior citizens doing that, maybe WWE is just doing a pretty fucking great job to have you suspend that much disbelief with emotion that you actually get angry at fans of Johnny Gargano. Like, you see where I'm going with that? Is that just wrestling being that good that you get that emotionally invested in it? Or are these just whack jobs? I don't know. By the way, before I go any further, before we even went live tonight, two special shout outs. Big Armada 1988. If you do a search on YouTube, you type in NWO theme, since we're talking about NXT and AEW tonight, the first video that shows up is a wiki context box about how the New World Order being a conspiracy theory. I actually saw it. It is pretty funny. If you do some searches, because last week was the 25th anniversary of NWO, if you go search, there's some wild claims out there. Wild claims. You know, Bischoff and Japan, Hall, Nash, Hogan, none of them created the New World Order. That is a phrase that's been around for long before they were even born. But it's pretty funny stuff how, because the wrestling New World Order was so big that people have to correlate the two for hits, really, for search results. James Tutton, welcome back. Thank you for all the great content each week. You're very welcome. Imagine how big I'd be right now if I broke away from... We're all big boys, James. I kind of like told you before, privately. I appreciate the kind words and the support, but, you know, you're not going to get LOLs from me with stuff like that. I'm here. You're here. We're family. Everybody here. We're having a great time. Balls ahead. Full steam ahead. You know, I don't regret anything that I did in my past. I evolve and I try to get better. And that's not a shot on anyone else. I can only worry about me. So I know you meant lighthearted about it, but don't go there. Not needed. Bryant, Becerra, much love, my friend. Great episode of Dynamite, and boy, the crowd helped big time. Crowd didn't help. Crowd helped the wrestlers, because when the wrestlers are there live and they hear that noise, like I said, adrenaline. It's a natural drug. It's a high that you can't explain. You can't explain it unless you feel it, you know, in a certain environment that it allows you to be part of that. But as far as TV goes and our viewing from home, the crowd enhanced it. I mean, it was like watching a great wrestling show on steroids. I hate using that phrase. Man, did they make it so much more fun. And not only that, you know, nothing against the Capitol Wrestling Center. I like that it's an intimate surrounding. It's a lot of old school. I grew up in the 80s, 79, barely 70s, but 80s, where you would watch TV and there'd be 200-300 fans in the building. I would go to WWF events where there were 200-300 fans in the building. I got to go to bigger events, but the point is, you know, it's cool to have an intimate vibe, but when you see 10,000 people going batshit and energy, just energy and getting into it, and that's a lot of fun to watch at home. It's a lot of fun to watch at home. Chris says he still laughs when I call him Green Hook. He is, man. I have nothing against Taz's son. Good for him. Seriously. If I had a dad that was a pro wrestler and I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps and my dad is bringing me on the road and AEW allowed me to be part of the show, I would love every minute of it. I don't fault his son for what he's doing. You know, I just, you know, I just don't think he should be on primetime TV yet. Even if you want to nitpick and look at the match with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks earlier, when Green Hook was distracting the referee, what was he doing? He was just talking to the referee. It looked so stupid on TV because the referee was like not paying attention. Like, why would you be majorly distracted like that? What was Green Hook saying? He wasn't like trying to grab the ref or anything like that. He's just outside the ring going like this. But nothing personal against the guy. He's having a great time. Good. I just want to be entertained. Maybe we are entertained by watching Green Hook. King of Games, 405. I think that's Cali. Just wanted to say thank you for the great work I did during the empty arena era. It really helped him through 2020. Thank you very much. King of Games, I swear, I know I've said this a trillion times already, but I'm going to say it again. I don't say this to pander to any of you out there, but believe me when I say this, dead serious. All of you hanging out with us and interacting and the comments and the support, whether you're telling others about the show or subscribing, hitting the like button, which I hope everybody would do right now, super chats, helping with expenses, helping us upgrade. You all have helped us tremendously. I just never in a million years would have ever thought in March of 2020 that we would be in this position now doing 5 shows a week, looking to add a 6th. Yes, and I want to make this clear also. Let me make this perfectly clear. I know when I'm live, I'm on video on YouTube. But when I say this and everybody hears me saying to all of you out there, that's every single person tuning in. It's not just video, it's audio also. 80 to 85% of everybody who enjoys what we do access the audio only content. They're not here on video. 80 to 85% of you out there access the audio only. And most of it is out of convenience. People don't want to kill their data plans. There's a lot of reasons why people do it. So believe me when I tell you, when I shout out all of you, I mean every single one of you tuning in. You strive us to just want to do more, and I do whatever I can and I'm having fun. And, little by little, we start consolidating the shows a little bit. Not really for burnout, but, to keep things fresh. I look around and I give A for effort for everyone out there that does shows, but I look around and you could see, those out there that are scraping the bottom of the barrel that really have nothing to talk about. And that's why they get 30 people that tune in. That makes them happy. That should be just as good. For me, that doesn't make me happy. I want as many of you to tune in as possible. And believe me, you all help me. You all help Mish. You have no idea how much you help us, get through these times as well. So just really pushes us. And we sincerely thank you for that. AS7607, she got to watch Monday's show. Fantastic. Couldn't tune in live. Emotional, yes. For those out there, I don't want to bring the show sad tonight, but I want to just reiterate one quick thing, and we'll get back to the recaps. Obviously, you all know about the passing of Paul Orndorff. 71 years old. We recently saw that video of him with his son, looked frail, dementia, poor health, and he's gone. And a lot of little things that go on behind the scenes on these shows, a lot of times I don't make public, but I wanted to make this public on Monday so everybody could get a kick out of, not only a cool story, but how much all of you out there truly mean to these shows. 2 weeks ago, I did a contest on Thursday, Money in the Bank briefcase. And Crazy Cruiserweight, who is one of our friends of the show, who tunes in and chats almost every week, he won the contest. Now, the prizes was probably like $200, the briefcase, plus, some Money in the Bank autograph stuff inside. And then I was also going to put in some sneak in some DT grub, and then an autograph photo. So AS7607, who a lot of you chat with every week, she had COVID earlier this year. She had some family members who got, in some very dire health issues, depression, sadness. She's said it publicly, so I'm not revealing anything I shouldn't. But, the shows are release. And that's why I always try to be positive on these shows. Yes, we criticize things. Yes, we laugh. Yes, we joke. Yes, we, rip who dat tonight with that coffee stuff. Totally unnecessary. I got to put myself on TV. The first show back with live fans. Truly, first show back with live fans, besides the pay-per-view. But these shows are a release. So Crazy Cruiserweight, who does not know AS7607, he says, you know what? I want to give my prize to her, to cheer her up. No, he's not looking to go on a date. He's no ulterior motives. Just wanted to give it to someone else who tunes into the shows because she's had a lot of bullshit happen. So I get in touch with her and I said, I want to give you an autographed photo with this briefcase stuff. Anybody you want. Anybody you want. Just, I don't care, past, present, anybody. And she said, you know what? I would absolutely love it if you could give me an autographed photo of my favorite wrestler of all time. And this was the signed photo I sent her 2 weeks ago. Her favorite wrestler of all time is Paul Orndorff. Now, how bittersweet is that? That, that's a pretty awesome story. But at the same time, though, she was given this stuff to cheer her up, and then go figure Paul Orndorff passes away. But just to show you how awesome all of you are out there, just a gesture like that. So, look, I got into a tribute for Paul Orndorff on Monday. And for any of you out there, even if it hits home because you had family members that might have suffered the same illness, you might have family members now who may in the beginning stages of dementia or anything. Remember this, and it sucks to say this. I have to use my dog as a comparison because once I was able to say this about my dog, then I say it to you. But for a long time, I never said what I'm about to say. But, as cliche as it sounds, Paul Orndorff is out of his misery. He's out of his pain. That anguish, that's just something that you just don't want to see people go through. And it sucks. No one wants to say goodbye. At some point, we're all going to go. I see people getting a little bit over dramatic. Oh, every opponent of Hogan from WrestleMania 1 to 6 is now dead. Yeah, WrestleMania 1 was 36 years ago. What do you think they wrestled at when they were 10? So if they were in their mid-20s 36 years ago, they'd be in their 60s. If they were in their mid-30s 36 years ago, they would be in their 70s. Everybody from 1 to 6 in main evented are gone. Yeah, it's 36 years ago. At some point, you got to realize, okay, it sucks. People do die at 60s, 70s, but wrestling or not, 70s, it happens. But Paul Orndorff, be happy that his entire legacy is on video. Almost everything. All his matches, all the moments, everything. If you loved his work, he's on video. And other wrestlers that we love are going to go at some point. You keep their legacies alive by watching their stuff, by telling younger people about it, the people of tomorrow that never heard of this person, this person, this person. I still get people that say to me to this day, Terry Funk's your favorite wrestler of all time? And then I realize, okay, we're getting many, many years. I mean, just think about that. Next year is the 25th anniversary of Terry Funk winning 1997. Yeah, 25th anniversary of Terry Funk winning the ECW title. 25th anniversary of ECW's first pay-per-view. Fucking years go by. So, smile, celebrate. Keep the legacy alive. So, anyway. So, as I said before, go watch the clip. I got a little chuckle out of Aubrey Edwards holding Malachi back by herself with just one arm. I loved Kenny Omega's quote tonight in his segment with Hangman Page. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Now, he added to it, you also don't fail if you don't take those shots. But that is something that I know it's storyline, but man, that is such a powerful sentence to keep in the back of your mind. If you ever want to go for something and you're so afraid of failing, I know when it comes to relationships and you fall in love for the first time and you break up and you're all down and depressed, someone will say to you, you know, it's better to have loved once than to have never loved at all. Fuck you. It doesn't make me feel better. But you want to go for something, you want to try something out, you want to podcast, you want to venture into a business, a field, you want to invest in something, and there's a lot of risk involved. That sentence that Kenny Omega said is so fucking powerful. You will miss 100% of every shot that you don't take. So sometimes it's worth to take that shot. You may miss taking the shot, but sometimes you won't. Seriously. Anthony Rojas, I'm sure Wayne Gretzky quoted someone else back in the day, but it's a phenomenal statement. Phenomenal statement. And by the way, man, two things. Number one, you now see that Hangman Page, they were just waiting. They were just waiting for live fans to return. And now with live fans back, he'll still crack a beer. I'm sure he'll be drinking beers from the fans. I'm sure he'll be toasting some fans in the near future. But this whole alcoholic storyline, bye-bye. Bye-bye. We now have AEW getting back to normal. You know, I still can't help but laugh at people when they were on Friday and the ratings were in the 4s. Oh my God, they'll never get those fans back. Now, personally, even if AEW barely cracks 9 this week, let's say they do 9-10, just saying, 9-10, 9-20. That today's show was worthy for 1 million viewers. Was definitely worthy of it. If it ends up even with 850, you have to look at it like a lot of fans missed out on a great fucking show tonight. They missed out on a great show tonight. It had a little bit of everything. It really was not a bad match tonight. The crowd made it that much more fun. And get used to it. Get used to it. We've missed it for over 1.5 years. We're finally going to start getting it back. So, Austin is asking me, did I see the guy that had his beat knocked out of his hand when Darby Allin, wait. I'm sorry, there's so many people talking. Oh, he deleted it. Never mind. That's why I can't see it. You deleted it. By the way, I have to drink crappy CNC seltzer tonight. I ran out. And I went to the store over here. I was like, you have club soda? You have Pellegrino water? No, we got CNC. Oh, he knocked his beer out of his hand? Yeah, shit happens. Shit happens. You know, shit happens. It happens. So anyway, I think those are all the random tidbits as far as that. We'll get back to NXT momentarily. Want to shout out our newest member of La Nostra Familia, our great family here, our channel members, Eddie Valentino. Much love. Oh, and by the way, for my great channel members out there, I will be recording the next Q&A either tomorrow or Friday. I was actually going to do it Saturday after Friday SmackDown to kind of like add to the conversation based on some of your questions you asked already. But between now and Saturday, the latest members-only Q&A will be up. So look out for that. And yes, we will be doing a predictions contest for my Patreon family as well. So we opened up the match tonight, AEW Dynamite, with Jon Moxley versus Karl Anderson for the IWGP US Championship. It was a fun match. I'll be honest with you. It felt like it was missing something. And I'm not going to say interference from the Elite. You know, I know Gallows tried to, and Eddie Kingston took care of that. But, oh yeah, a few people said, props. Yes, I'm wearing an Abaddon shirt tonight. I am a fan of Abaddon. I like Abaddon. I've liked her since AEW brought her in. You know, you'd see a picture of her once in a blue moon before she came to AEW, and then you see her in AEW and you watch the gimmick closer. I like her. You know, not the greatest wrestler out there, but who wants to see her do fucking planches and fucking 450 splashes? Come on. It's a gimmick. It's a whacked out gimmick. I can only imagine getting intimate with Abaddon. Seriously, I'm not saying that to be like a pervert or anything like that, but could you just imagine? I mean, you just like, you're laying in bed, you open your eyes, and there's just blood like dripping out of it. I wonder if she's, it's too personal. Too personal. By the way, can I say this now? Can I say this now? Mandy Rose, since we're talking about women, Mandy Rose shows up at NXT. Interesting. We talked about it on Patreon yesterday. I am not one of those that will ever tease somebody getting fired. Unemployment line. Turn your text off. Put it on silent. Do not disturb. You might get a text message. I hate that. I'm not going to lie. Old Don Tony from years ago would be all over that shit. But I kind of feel bad now because, you know, it's not fun to lose a job. And it's not fun, you know, to kind of like hope or find it entertaining that someone could lose their job, no matter who it is. I have made it clear I'm not a fan of Dana Brooke at all. I don't like her work. She tries. But it's just like baseball. You want to use baseball as a reference. You'll have someone who is a career minor leaguer that might do decent in the minor leagues, and they go to the major leagues and they can't even bat 200. They go down in the minor leagues, they're a superstar. You put them in the major leagues, they bat 190. They bat 190 for 6-7 years. You have a batter in the major leagues that is great in the minor leagues but sucks in the major leagues. Just because he's on the team, they keep bringing him up 5, 6, 7 years. The guy doesn't go at bat and then go look at everybody, go, it's my time. It's my time. It's not your time. And honestly, her timing, that's something that is very, very difficult to overcome. Her timing is off. We've talked about that before. The Mendoza line, yeah. And I don't mean Raul. That's Mario Mendoza? Oh, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. I know he was a lifetime like 200 hitter or something. But anyway, I just want to know what the hell is going to happen with Dana Brooke. Does she show up on NXT and start attacking Mandy Rose for deserting her? I don't know if Mandy Rose, you know, she might still show up on Raw. Look at Bronson Reed yesterday. He showed up in NXT. Remember about a month ago, we talked about Nick Khan, and I said the Khan effect is among us. It's upon us. You're starting to see the Nick Khan the effect. If we have people that are not being used all that much, why can't we use them in other areas? Bronson Reed, they put him on one main event match. Main event, the show, not the status on the card. He's on main event once. Everybody is buzzing. He performed in front of Vince McMahon. Now he shows up in NXT. Now everybody's talking about Bronson Reed. Now what if for those 2 weeks he just was off TV? Off TV, no buzz whatsoever. So you're starting to see this effect of them utilizing wrestlers in other areas rather than them staying home. It's just like when they consolidated those other departments for WWE films and other stuff. We're in 2021. Why do we need 25 people to do jobs that 10 people can handle? There's something called multitask. And this person could fit here and here. That's what's happening. Not on a huge degree, but you will see it more and more. You will absolutely see it more and more. Shout out to Claire Chapel. It's her first time. Friend told her about me, and she loves the channel. Thank you. Thank you for that. Much love. Much love. You know, I know it's not a Claire, but I had a keto egg Claire a couple of days ago. I actually made one when I came back home from vacation. I took 4 days, 4.5 day vacation. I'm back. Feel a little relaxed, trying to get back in the swing of things. So I got to see what's going to happen with Mandy Rose. Now, everybody immediately thinks that Mandy Rose is the leader of the new Robert Stone brand, and I think Frankie Monet is. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, that Frankie Monet was positioning herself to basically be the one in charge. I think Mandy Rose just happened to be walking by in the back saying, oh, there's a new owner of this. There's a new owner. Oh, no, the Robert Stone brand's under new management. I don't think she was talking about herself. I think she was looking at Frankie Monet and going, Robert Stone brand is under new management, I see. Now, the funny thing is Robert Stone going to suddenly be the whipping boy? I would not be surprised. By the way, do you all know? Do you all notice Cameo? What's going on in Cameo? I don't know if a lot of you noticed this. Yes, we joked about it the other day. Alexa Bliss is charging WWE is charging $800 if you want a cameo from Alexa Bliss. $500 was not enough. Now we're at $800. You want Lily? It's $900. You want Lily in a bikini? It's $1,000. I mean, if people want to pay it, who are we to tell them what to do with their money? Seriously. I think that's a little bit too much. But if you go on Cameo, you might notice something that a lot of people have not. A lot of NXT stars have been on Cameo the entire time because their contracts in NXT are a little bit different than the WWE Raw and SmackDown contracts. And they're very, very inexpensive as well. You could go on Cameo right now and get a cameo from Robert Stone for like $50. Gigi Dolin, who I still say from the day they signed her, you look at her, she reminds me of Paige with the physique and the way she dresses. I know she's got red hair, but to me, when she wore the red leather hat, she looked international. Her name should not have been Gigi Dolin. Should have been Gigi Dolin. I don't know, maybe they tried to get her to talk French, and maybe it was just worse than, like Lana or Maurice trying to do an international accent. Maybe she couldn't do it. But I think Gigi Dolin should have brought in there as an international flavor. I am Gigi Dolin. She's got the fucking rose. She looks like she's international. They should have done that, man. By the way, you see that whiplash shit yesterday with a match with Sarray? That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Take note, because I took note of this yesterday. Everybody that is really, really worried about the whiplash effect, if you pay close attention, if you watch it slowly, when Sarray hit that drop kick to Gigi Dolin's face, Gigi Dolin's shoulder blades are against the rope. So when she goes backwards like this, now I don't want to do that too fast because then I'll fall down and I'll end up doing the turtle again. But when she goes backwards, her shoulder blades are taking the absorbing a lot of the move. It looks violent, but just look at her shoulder blades on the rope and watch it in slow motion. Yeah, let's stay on the women topic. Penelope Ford looked great today. I think Kip Sabian has got to be eyeing a return soon because Mirdo's promo today was heavily about Kip Sabian, even though, he was giving us an overall, which we'll talk about in a few moments. But I think Kip Sabian, she seems lost without Kip Sabian. She's just there. And by the way, I know we did not get to see much of him today, but we had Sammy Guevara take on Wheeler Yuta. Keep that name in the back of your mind. I know he didn't get a lot of offense tonight against Sammy Guevara. That guy is on a lot of promotions' radar. The problem is with WWE, they have so many other wrestlers right now. He's not going to leapfrog 10, 15 NXT up-and-comers, even though they're doing that breakout tournament. I know he got a tryout match for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is trying to rebound from COVID. You know, they really got hit hard. NWA got hit hard. Man, I want to say something from yesterday with NWA, man. Bite my tongue, seriously. And I'm not biting my tongue about this. I want to give you all an update from my homeboys and homegirls out there from my neck of the woods. I reached out to AEW 3 times in the last 4 weeks to find out how I could go about getting a package deal of buying 100 tickets for their August appearance at Arthur Ashe Stadium. 3 times, I got no answer. Before anybody says it to me, I am 1,000% certain that I sent the information to the right area. First time I sent it, I said that, who I was, and that I have a lot of people here that want to get together, especially after COVID. We had a lot of a get-together at the big event, and we want to do it. And how can I go about purchasing 100 tickets? Possibly if we could get it in the same section. No response. I sent the follow-up a week later. Just following up. I would just appreciate it if you could just put me in the right direction as far as who I could speak to, if it's even possible. If not, then I'd like to plan accordingly and get in touch with everybody to find alternatives before the tickets go on sale. No response at all. I reach out to someone else that I know. Look, can you do me a favor? Can you pass this along to a... Yeah, I passed it along. No response. I'm still going to go, and I might get a skybox, or I might just get front row tickets and go as fucking Deli Man. Seriously. Kick me out for being Deli Man. I'm not going to cause chaos. I'm certainly not jumping the guardrail. I ain't a fucking goof. And by the way, shout out to everybody out there who did exactly what that reject wanted last week, that jumped the guardrail in AEW. He wanted all of you to fucking talk about him. When somebody brought it up last week when I was doing a watch along, I said, fuck him, he might even be a plant. Because I don't like giving people attention like that. People out there clickbaiting, tweet fucking, just writing 1,000 things about the guy. You can't give those people, that's what they want. They want attention. They want attention. So I don't really care, Benjamin. I mean, if 100 tickets doesn't warrant at least a response, look, I would have been fine with, look, there's really no way you have to go through Ticketmaster. Fine. But the reason why I'm a little annoyed by this, I want everybody just to hear a little quick story. AEW, All Out, Chicago, year and a half ago, where we're supposed to go down in Chicago? I had hotel done, and I had plane done. And I was going there to hang out with Julian, which I know some of you know, Lee Sanders, Mish. I posted online screenshots of my reservation. I had everything done. I had the hotel booked. I was kind of worried when a bunch of you out there like, oh yeah, I'm in the same hotel. We're going to hook up. Joking. It really happened, but I wasn't concerned. But I wanted a press pass. I don't do interviews. But I said, you know what? I think it would be pretty cool. I have portable equipment. Maybe we could do a couple of interviews while they're there. We could ask a couple of things. I don't play clickbait. I don't play gotcha. I don't do any shit like that. And I looked into press passes. I said, I'd like to request a press pass. How could I go about it? No response. Sent the second request. How could I go about this? No response. But 3 people that I know that sent it to the same place, they got press pass. I said, okay, fuck you. I canceled my shit. Seriously. You want me to go one step further? I won't name the promotion, But if you put two and two together, I already named the promotion tonight. Yesterday, a promotion had a nice press release on YouTube. And I consider myself one of their supporters, but I am very blunt and brutally honest about certain things. And I express how I feel. It's an opinion. After the press conference was over, I wrote in the comment section, I said, thank you for all your hard work. I'm really looking forward to the 2 upcoming events, period. I don't do it to get tweet fucked, but I posted it and there was like 4 or 5 thumbs up, likes on mine. So I was like, oh, cool. About maybe 2 hours later, I start preparing for this week's shows and I go into my YouTube thing and I go into my comments history. First of all, I look to see all your comments so I could respond to all of you. And then I looked to see if any assholes like went up there and like, oh, fuck DT. Because people do that shit still. You know, other people show me love, like Easy, keep it at 100, showed me love last week. And you got a couple of jerk-offs out there that are like, oh, he's an asshole. He broke away from his old co-host. And I'm like, yeah. And that's because of, what is it? tinyurl.com/RIPDTKC. Go on that link and you'll see the reason why. And I'm like, you know, people just can't accept it and got to throw shade. So I was curious to see if anybody was going to do that shit there. They deleted my comment. And I was like, huh, okay. Why? Because we're almost 20,000 viewers, and what do they think, that I'm just posting the compliment on their page so to get visibility and maybe some people go to my channel? Fuck you too. Seriously, there's some really petty little bitches out there. And people wonder why I say the shit that I say. You believe that shit, man? So anyway, let's get back to the recaps and then we can start winding this up. Because tomorrow we got a nice night coming. By the way, yes or no, for tomorrow's prize, and the contest will have to do with posting comments, tomorrow's episode. Just letting you know now. So we don't have to worry about any crazy trivia. Well, what do you think about the prize tomorrow being a cameo and an autograph photo of the same person? I don't want to see who it is yet. But do you like that idea? I was just thinking about it. If a lot of you, because I know a lot of you tuning in now are going to tune in tomorrow. Do you like that idea tomorrow? The prize is a cameo, which will be given to you, not from me, from somebody on TV, and an autograph photo from that person as well. So, and that person, when they give you the cameo, obviously they're going to mention that Don Tony told me to send you this cameo, and I might actually have them say a couple of choice words depending on who wins. All right, so Benjamin, Marvin, everyone else, I don't take it personal. I just look at it like, wow, there's some very petty people. You would think that and it's, look, when I first started over here, you know, there was a lot of people that were giving me a lot of like good luck and talking public, like, you know, much love, and behind my back talking a lot of shit. And no, it wasn't just one person. I know what you're all thinking. I'm not talking about him. A lot of people are doing that. And it's like, you know, my age, you know, I don't get like triggered or butthurt about it. If anything, that just gives me the drive to now get 30,000 subscribers. This way I could go, All right, so let's get back to Dynamite. So Moxley retains the title. Lance Archer. Now, anybody out there that knows a little bit of the history with the IWGP US title knows there's a little bit of history with Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley. I think these two guys are going to tear it up next week. I just am very concerned about Lance Archer, because it just felt so freaking random today that Lance Archer suddenly is calling out Moxley. And yes, there is history. There is absolute history. But I'm looking at the bigger picture. It almost feels like Lance Archer needs to win this IWGP title. I really do feel that he needs to win it. I think if Moxley is going to start teaming with Kingston again, especially if they get those tag titles in New York, which is not that far away, you got to start planting some serious seeds over here. Right now, they're commingling the Elite and the Dark Order. That's just to eat up a few weeks. Afterwards, that's got to lead to something else. But Lance Archer, it just feels like they don't know what the fuck to do with him. I mean, man, everything with Sting, Darby Allin, and well, remember he kept coming out there. Where did that go? That went nowhere. It went nowhere. It's just like, okay, let's just put that together for a couple of weeks, and then what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's a lot of guys in that position. Fake Dixie Carter in the chat says TNA welcomes me. There is no TNA anymore. You liar. You liar. I will never forget you wearing that AC/DC shirt. I know that's not the real Dixie Carter. So next week we have Moxley versus Lance Archer, Texas Death Rules. Even though it's supposed to be IWGP rules. Again, little things like that, I think they got to tighten up. Moxley should have said in his promo, I just got off the phone with IWGP and they said, no problem, Texas Death Rules. Lance Archer next week, you're Texas born, Texas bred. When I'm done with you, you're going to be Texas dead. Yes, I know he said that part, but I don't recall him saying about getting the okay from IWGP that you could have Texas Death Rules. That's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. How many of you thought that Daniel Bryan was showing up tonight? The same person, I tell you, I almost want to shout this guy out for suckering people that well. The same person that started this Daniel Bryan AEW surprise this week or next week for Fyter Fest, on Monday, he told everyone that Brock Lesnar was backstage at Raw. And a few people reported it as news until people reminded them that Raw was taped last week. I don't know, but the guy's not doing it to troll people. He's actually doing it to clickbait, to get people, and people are actually reporting his shit as fact. Look, could Daniel Bryan show up in AEW? Yeah. If he doesn't work out a deal with WWE, he can follow the same path. Not as Malachi Black. If Daniel Bryan signs with AEW, he will follow the path of Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy, WWE at some point felt that Matt Hardy is best used for them, or best suited as a trainer. Matt Hardy felt he still had some years left, and down the line, he would welcome to be a trainer, but right now he still wanted to finish out his career. So if Daniel Bryan ends up in AEW, he's going to follow the similar path to Matt Hardy. And the same thing will happen. When Matt Hardy showed up there, and I know a lot of you remember when I said, you watch the first match he has, everybody's going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, WWE? The guy could still go. They're going to do the same thing for Daniel Bryan. And the funny thing is, Daniel Bryan just had an epic match at WrestleMania. He had some pretty damn good matches in the last 12 months. I don't understand, unless there's a serious difference in finances. You're going back to live fans. You want to sell out SummerSlam with crazy 70,000 people, whatever it is. You're doing super shows. You mean to tell me that having Daniel Bryan on them is not a big plus? Something's up there. But look, for all we know, Daniel Bryan could be one of the surprises coming back. Anybody that tells you Daniel Bryan is returning to WWE, anybody that tells you Daniel Bryan is signing with AEW, that's not news or sources. That is guesses or hope. That's what that is. And there's nothing wrong with anyone out there hoping that he signs here or re-signs here or goes here or goes back there. But don't report it as news, because it's not news. None of us have any connections that deep that knows exactly what's going on with Daniel Bryan. So if anyone out there says, no, he's going to go to AEW, and then when he goes there, see, I was right. I reported it right. I told you. I was right all along. I have my son. No, you just fucking wanted it and you got it. That doesn't make it news. It should just make you smile. Ricky Starks beats Brian Cage for the FTW title. You know, the title that they don't recognize, but they sure make it feel awfully important. They don't need, like I said it before, they don't need to keep reminding us that it's not a recognized title. If you're announcing it, if you're displaying it, if you're commentating it, if you're awarding it, if you're presenting it, if you're announcing it, you're acknowledging the championship. Ricky Starks got a nice pop tonight, as I said before. One, because he has performed in Texas quite a bit, has a big fan base there. Number two, we just got back to live fans. They're energized. Anything they want to erupt. This is 17, 18 months of stored energy. Even if 3/4 of those fans tonight never went to a live wrestling show before, people just wanted to go and just yell at the top of their lungs and not have to spray alcohol in the air afterwards or wear a mask or whatever it is. So you got to be careful. If you're not vaccinated, you got to be careful. But fans just wanted to have a good time tonight. So don't analyze, why did the heels get cheered? The seeds have been planted for quite some time now. Brian Cage was going to be out of Team Taz. Brian Cage will end up having a match with Powerhouse Hobbs. Maybe he has a rematch with Ricky Starks. Then what? He's another guy I'm a little concerned. I would not be surprised if Brian Cage is not, I don't want to say not in AEW a year or two from now, but I just don't know. Do they have him feud with Miro? I don't see AEW putting him over Miro. And Brian Cage is one talented mofo. Brian Cage honestly deserves a lot better, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Like I said, take notes. If the AEW rating goes down tonight, it's not because of a bad show. It's because a lot of fans missed out on a great show. And maybe they tune in next week. But I don't think the ratings go down. I truly think they go somewhere around 920, 930. I think that's very, very fair. In fact, I might even be shooting it a little bit. Maybe like 910, like I said before. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar. I've said that so many times. I do not want to see Brock Lesnar in AEW. There ain't no way they're going to have Brock Lesnar leapfrog Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Young Bucks. I don't even think they're going to have him leapfrog Miro. What is he going to do? He's going to be the new Lance Archer there? Like, what is he going to do? Just beat the shit out of people? Think of the promotion. Think of the people on TV. Think of the major storylines. You tell me, who's Brock Lesnar going to go up against? Nick Camarado? That's going to be the feud? Yeah, I feel Brock might be a WWE lifer. Might be. Never say never. Tommy End has the confrontation with Cody, as we talked about earlier. Loved it. Want to see where it goes. Kamea needs to have a match and a match soon. Oh, we got off topic before. I got to talk for a moment about Andrade. Yeah, I said before, it's no secret. I am a big fan of Charlotte Flair. She's got all the tools. I understand people's frustration that she's always has gold floating around her, either on her or lingering. With that said, though, I don't care if Andrade was her husband, boyfriend, fiance, father, father-in-law, brother. I don't care. This has nothing to do with their relationship. Andrade, in my opinion, is quickly falling flat and falling flat badly. It will be covered up a little bit by the fans' energy, just enjoying pro wrestling again, because he comes off a little bit as bitter to WWE. That will help him a little bit. But you just think about his entire AEW run so far. He shows up on TV and Matt Sydal walks past him. He comes out, the whole character. If you want to do Scarface, Miami, whatever you want to do, Andrade's character, let me put it this way. You go to Miami, whether it's now or 1982 for Scarface, and you got somebody like Andrade in a club, and, he's like in the middle of a conversation with someone, and you just walk right in the middle of both of them and maybe even bump into him. You think he's going to, you're like, oh, excuse me. You think he's going to be like, no problem. Enjoy the music. No, that motherfucker will grab a bottle and crack it over your head. You motherfucking insignificant, selfish careless mother. Step on his shoes and watch what happens. So what happens? He makes his debut. Matt Sydal walks by, and instead of this is AEW's fault. Let's make it clear. This is not his fault. This is AEW's fault. Instead of going after him, you do not disrespect Andrade. He fucking turns around and he walks off the stage. And he waits 3 weeks to beat up Matt Sydal. Not only that, some moron there thinks that we need to see subtitles. I understand what he's saying. They're doing subtitles for some reason. I could guarantee you that the reason why they're doing that is a hidden joke, a behind-the-scenes joke that WWE maybe didn't let Andrade cut a promo because nobody would understand what he's saying. I will almost bet the ranch that that's why they're doing that. Stop it. It's fucking stupid. Especially when Alex Marvez or the other guy, Dushida, remember that? When he interviews Andrade today, he's the Latino guy, so he's there as like a translator. 3/4 of the promo are in English. So now Andrade shows up. I am here. I want the gold. I want the gold. I'm Andrade. I want the gold. He met Sydal. He walked by. He walks off. Waits 3 weeks and again, this is AEW's fault. Waits 3 weeks to have the match. Beats Matt Sydal. Leaves again. So today, I want the death triangle. Now, don't get me wrong. Andrade versus Rey Fenix sounds pretty cool. Andrade versus Penta sounds pretty cool. Andrade versus Pac sounds pretty cool. But this Andrade character feels dead in the water. Just because you got some goof with wiping dust off the back of his shoulder earlier, what does that mean? You look at Tommy End in 2 weeks, you look at Andrade in the past 2 weeks, you can't even compare the two. You can't. Andrade, I honestly think they will have great matches. Here's the problem, everyone. Here's the problem, and I think a lot of you know exactly what I'm about to say. When you have so many incredible high flyers, or some people say flippy in AEW, tell me what the fuck is Andrade going to do with Ray Phoenix that we haven't seen Ray Phoenix do with 7 other people in that company? You mean to tell me that people are so into Andrade badass that, oh, no, all those other people, it don't matter. That's Andrade. It's Andrade. I don't know anybody that is saying that. I think they got a big problem here. Buyer's remorse, I don't know. But I want the death triangle. All right. You'll get him in 3 weeks. AEW, what the fuck you doing with this guy, man? I understand not every person could get the creme de la creme as far as the storyline goes. But this guy has had 5 weeks, I think, in AEW. And honestly, I'm not impressed with any one of those 5 weeks. Just the whole thing about that character. You know, you let someone show you up, even if it's unintentional, and that's because the people behind the scenes, they may have money, they may have great wrestling ability, they may have years in wrestling, but they're not street smart. So they look at strictly as storyline. Oh, no. Matt Sydal and Andrade, they will tear it up. Yeah, but the whole fucking character, Andrade, you know, somebody walks past her, shows him up. You gotta, put it this way, it's like somebody on Twitter that tells you that they're tough as nails, that they're tough as shoe leather, that they are just like, you know, veteran, blah, 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 blah. You make one little remark, they get triggered and they write about you 55 times. They get so batshit triggered over the slightest little insult. That's what Andrade should have done. Anybody looks at him the wrong way, boom, fuck him up. Andrade should have been unhinged. Then after he beats this shit out of someone, where was I? That's what I would have done. I loved the segment tonight with Santana and Ortiz and Tully. That was great. Tully Blanchard about to do an interview. Santana and Ortiz on the sidelines. They basically grab Tully Blanchard after all the attacks with FTR. They take out a crowbar and Tully Blanchard. Now, if that was WWE, especially if it was the 90s, Tully Blanchard would have left a puddle on the floor. You know there would have been a puddle on the floor. He might have even had a stain in his pants. But they basically teased that they were going to hit Tully Blanchard with a crowbar, and they basically drop it in front of him, and they're like, Bendejo, it's not real. It's fake. Next time it won't be. And then once Tully Blanchard realizes that the crowbar was fake, then they leave and they're like, get you guys. And Tully's like, I'm going to get him. That was an awesome segment. Because that is something, suspension of disbelief, believable. I am sick of the Sting plastic bats, the NWO plastic bats. I am sick of the sledgehammers. I'm sick of the crowbars. I'm sick of the baseball bats. That if you did that in real life and you swung for the fences, even if you just went boop, somebody's eye would swell close. You know, this today, it was a fake crowbar. They said it was a fake crowbar because they were playing mind games with Tully Blanchard. Maybe he should have had a wet spot. But I love this segment. Once Tully realized that it was fake, Tully got his balls back. And he got mad. Great segment. Awesome segment. Bandejo. I'm going to get my boys. Hangman Page comes out, cuts a promo. Since day one, I wanted to be AEW champion. Dark Order was right. I still need that championship belt. He is about to challenge Kenny Omega. Callis interrupts him. Don Callis comes out. Gallows and Anderson, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. They're basically putting him down. Matt Jackson's in the ring, reminding Hangman Page that they were best friends and he left them for a bunch of losers. He makes fun of Hangman Page's breath, that he smells like he's still on the bottle. And then Nick Jackson tells him that you will be the next greatest wrestling tragedy. And Hangman Page knocks him on his ass. And Kenny Omega's behind Hangman Page, teasing he's going to do a belt shot. And then here comes the Dark Order hitting the ring. Everybody escapes. So we get a little challenge. Dark Order versus the Elite, 5-on-5. Some people were confused and they thought the match was happening tonight. No. You don't need to fire all your bullets in one night. But it's going to be 5-on-5. And if Hangman Page and the Dark Order win, not only does Hangman Page get a title shot against Kenny Omega, but the Dark Order get a shot at the Young Bucks Tag Team Championships as well. On Kenny Omega's side, where he felt that there was nothing in it for them, if the Elite win, then Hangman Page goes back to, as Kenny Omega said, Ma and Pa. And you do not challenge for the title. The Dark Order do not get an opportunity at the Young Bucks. So I think it's safe to say that the Dark Order will win. When they have that match, loud cowboy shit chants tonight. Loud cowboy shit chants tonight. Yes, Harris, I heard about Michael Elgin getting arrested, violating court order, personal. Relationships are tough, man, especially when relationships go foul. That's why I had a lot of sympathy for Tammy back when shit was going down. I've seen some people act very, very desperate in a bad relationship. I don't have all the details with Michael Elgin. I'll look it up. If it seems more of a personal thing than anything else, I leave it exactly where I talked about it tonight. Hopefully, that shit could get squared away. So that's the match that we have looking forward to. Loud cowboy shit chants. He is tremendously over with those fans. That guy beats Omega for the championship. Oh my God. That might arguably be the loudest pop in the early history of AEW. It could arguably be the loudest pop yet. We'll see if that happens. There's no guarantee. But me, if I'm a betting man, I think Hangman Page will become champion. Things are going to start falling like dominoes with the Elite. It's got to. We'll see when it happens. A lot of people think Chicago. Some people think they'll hold it to New York. I don't know about that. We'll see. Jericho being interviewed in the back. He's got to do the 5 labors of Jericho. You know, he's got to, I guess, win 5 matches or 4 matches to get to MJF. Shawn Spears shows up, attacks Jericho. MJF basically tells Jericho next week it's going to be Jericho versus Spears. Spears could use the chair. Jericho cannot. Excellent segment. I enjoyed it. Did what it needed to do. Wasn't too long. We talked about it earlier. Christian beating Matt Hardy. Christian's first ever win against Matt Hardy one-on-one in their entire careers, which to me, it's still mind-boggling. I never, ever, you know for a fact that one of those two brought up to AEW, Christian has never had a singles win. If Christian went up to him like, I in my entire career, I never had a win over Matt Hardy one-on-one. Maybe that'd be a good selling point. Or wouldn't be surprised if Matt Hardy went to AEW and said, look, Christian never had a win over me in our entire career. That's a pretty wild, out of the last, like I said, the last 24 hours, that tidbit blew me away more than anything else. Just looking back on how much those guys fought each other, Christian never held a singles victory against Matt Hardy. That's crazy. They worked their ass off tonight. Crowd loved it. There was a lot of people online that were a little concerned, like, oh, they're going to do Matt Hardy and Christian. You know what that reminded me of? Watching Rey Mysterio and Psychosis or Hoovy having a match in WWE. After we saw it in ECW, after we saw it in AAA, or vice versa, after we saw it in WCW, I had no problem with it. I loved it. Those guys showed tonight they could still go. Seeing Matt Hardy do a superplex off the top rope, seeing Christian diving off the top turnbuckle outside the ring, taking some pretty good spots, they tell a great story. After the match is over, private party, circle the ring, just have Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus make the save. Little Marco, I don't recall seeing him. No complaints. No complaints. Britt Baker comes out, cuts a promo. Crowd is into Britt Baker, man. They want things to chant. All she's got to go is DMD. And the crowd does it. That's interaction. That's good. Crowd is into it. Look, is she the most polished wrestler, women's wrestling right now? No, not even close. But she has improved significantly, and I know I've said it 1,000 times in the last year and a half. Got to give a lot of that credit to her, but you also got to give a lot of that credit to Adam Cole, baby. I got a kick out of where she said about Vicky, that Vicky has a last name that is basically the reason why Vicky will always remain relevant in wrestling, because she still calls herself Guerrero. Some people, I think, misconstrued Britt Baker's comment. Maybe it was meant for what it was, because she was trying to play the baddest bitch on the block, kind of like a twist of Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Instead of the baddest man on the planet, the baddest bitch on the block. But didn't Britt Baker say something to Nyla, talking about Nyla Rose, like, I'm off the market? Something like that? I don't know. It sounded like it. I know it could be interpreted two different ways. It was a little odd to see Vicky and Nyla in the back, like yelling at the screen. Maybe they just didn't have enough time to have her come out and have a confrontation with Britt Baker. So that's next week. Sammy Guevara, as I said earlier, beat Wheeler Yuta. The reason why they have Wheeler Yuta with Orange Cassidy, the best friend stuff, is because of the fact that one member of Best Friends, is going to be out indefinitely. So they need to get a little bit of a rub for him. And they're aligning him with Best Friends. They're aligning him with Orange Cassidy. Obviously, it'll help him. He is a up-and-coming prospect. A lot of eyes on him. It's just, if we didn't have COVID, I think there's a good chance he might be employed elsewhere. But keep him on your radar, because he's actually really, 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 really good. And you can sense when someone is putting it all together and might be a star of tomorrow. Maybe it amounts to nothing. But most people that we've talked about in the last couple of years that, coming up the food chain, we kept on their radar, they actually have all pretty much developed into something legit. Here's where Who Dat pours coffee over Shivani's head. Totally unnecessary, dumb, needed. I need to be on TV. First Dynamite back with live fans. I got to have my moment. This is that. That's what that was. I worked my ass off behind the scenes. I'm entitled to 45 seconds of TV. Yuka Sakazaki defeating Penelope Ford. This match was a lot better than I think people expected. I was a little worried because Yuka, when she did her sort of reverse splash for the win, it looked like she kind of slipped, but she still had enough reach to hit Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford, she's gotten better. You know, you don't see her that much on Dynamite, but she works her ass off. Again, I see what a lot of you are saying. Yeah, Darren, we talked about Trent Barretta's surgery a couple of weeks ago. It's a lot more serious than you think. But Yuka Sakazaki, I did not realize that she was not on TV for 16 months. Felt a lot sooner than I thought I could have. But then again, COVID with Japan too. But she's good. I mean, I don't want to compare it to Sarray, but they're similar in size. Sarray, I think, might have just a little bit more, in the offense category. But Yuka Sakazaki, I think in a perfect world, people would rather see Riho or what was the other? Oh, someone in the chat room bail me out on this. Who is the other Japanese talent? The one that always gives everybody Maki Ito? Yeah, Maki Ito, right? Sorry, chat room, I don't need you. Maki Ito. I think in a perfect world, they'd rather have Maki Ito out there. But, if you really paid attention, Maki Ito, not necessarily all that great in the ring. So, Darren, Yuka is her name. Interesting commercial hyping up Rampage for August 13th. Main event, Darby Allin defeating Ethan Page in a coffin match. Man, I wish they had another 5 minutes at least. The ending got so rushed. I mean, I love how Ethan Page dismantled part of the ring, took the bottom ring rope and used the hook. Nitpicking a little bit, but if you were watching it at home on a big TV in high definition, when Darby Allin had the hook in Ethan Page's mouth, you could see that he just had it there, and it was up to Ethan Page to make it seem like he was yanking. He wasn't yanking, but the visual was still good. You had Scorpio Sky try to get involved with it, with Ethan Page a little bit. Sting comes out. Sting rolls into the crowd using garbage cans. Man, that crotch shot that Sting gave to Scorpio Sky on that railing, that looked like it hurt. Yeah, Austin, Darby got hooked, line and sinker. It was a fun coffin match, man. I wish they would have teased the coffin a little bit more, but you could tell they were short on time. They focused a lot outside the ring, up the rampway. I mean, they took a lot of crazy ass bumps, man. I will tell you, seriously, I have, for the last year, changed my tune on Darby Allin big time. Year and a half ago, it was Darby Dumbass. Remember that? All those stunts he was doing outside. But they've reeled him in, and he's reeled himself in a little bit as well. But Ethan Page, man, you remember when I had the plastic heart? They did that awful shit in Impact Wrestling. Ethan Page was the guy. Oh, by the way, remember that shirt? I have it inside. I don't know if I have the picture handy, but a lot of you out there wanted the information about that Ethan. Oh, here it is. Remember this shirt that I gave everybody the link where you could buy it? Remember that shirt Ethan Page wore? $15. That's how much that shirt goes. That's why even on Ethan Page's page, it wasn't like talked about. Because a lot of people asked Ethan Page, where'd you get that shirt? I want one. He never answered anybody. Not because he's a heel, because he's answered them about other things. He didn't want anybody to know that the shirt cost $15. I ordered the shirt, and I will tell you right now, if you're thinking about ordering on that website or ordering that shirt, I'll show it to you tomorrow. I have it inside. Be warned. Be warned that their sizes are all out of whack. I bought an XL, and an XL fits me pretty comfortable, and I put it on, and I can't even close it. It's like a vest. I'm like, the way their sizes, I would have to buy a 3XL for it to fit. So I bought 3 other shirts as well. The t-shirt fit fine. The button-down shirts, they're all fucked up. So I got to set up a return. I'm returning them because they're not sized properly. Either they're defective or their idea of an XL, man, I don't want to use any international jokes and piss anybody off, but I know there's some countries where, you know, the average size of a person, it might be like $140. That might be their equivalent to an XL. I put it on, and I'm like, the hell is this? I feel like I'm wearing baby clothes. So I have this shirt inside. I wanted to wear it tonight, but I couldn't. Yeah, I fit into an XL. I mean, I could put a double XL depending on the company, but this thing wears like a medium. I mean, it's not like a tight XL where, okay, I should have went 2XL. I put it on, and I'm telling you, you could probably see these. Maybe I'll put it on tomorrow over a t-shirt so you could see what it looks like. I will not wear it without a t-shirt. I don't want to get anybody nauseous tomorrow. So Darby Allin and Ethan Page, I think the psychology of the Coffin should have been used more, but the fans didn't care. The fans were loving it. They were chanting, this is awesome. And what I was going to say moments ago is the fact that Ethan Page is now getting in the main event of their programming is awesome. That guy is one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, and he's quickly becoming my favorite wrestler in AEW. The guy just has it. He's got the look. He's got the ability. He's got great psychology. He recognizes how good a visual is coming across on TV. Him and Darby Allin, and I brought this up before, him and Darby Allin have a history outside of AEW. So if they really gelled tonight, go on YouTube and check out their earliest stuff. You'll actually enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. I was bringing this up yesterday on Patreon with Mish. You know, a lot of people don't realize, like Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, you know, they had the characters before AEW. They're just getting noticed and getting the opportunity in AEW. Those characters, in fact, I think the Dark Order might be AEW's biggest creation, if you think about it. I mean, you know, some of the characters were actually started elsewhere. Nothing wrong with that, but Ethan Page and Darby Allin do have history. And if you go search it out, I think you'll enjoy it. So Darby Allin, it was 9:59 p.m. So you knew Darby Allin was going to get Ethan Page in the casket awfully quickly. Closes the door. We still had about 40 seconds left, so Darby Allin decides to climb the top rope and do the coffin drop on the coffin, and no special effects like WWE. No trap doors where Ethan Page could like climb out of the casket and roll underneath the ring. Ethan Page was still in the casket, and Darby Allin dove on top of it and smashed the top in, kind of like crushed Ethan Page a little bit as well. But crowd loved it. Crowd ate it up. I did not say AEW's created nothing. I said characters and gimmicks. Gimmicks. Look, persona, gimmicks, things like that. Dark Order might be their biggest one. So that was AEW tonight. Next week, we got some interesting matches to look forward to. That'll be night 2 of Fyter Fest. Last night, NXT. I know we already talked about several parts of the show. I want to fill in the blanks now. We're at 1 hour and 50 minutes, so we will be wrapping this up soon. Very soon. Soon! By the way, notice, last 3 weeks, after we had that conversation, they're not on TV. What happened to them? They'll be back soon. There's a reason why a lot of these guys end up off TV. Anyway. Oh, and you know what? I got to say it here because Wednesdays are for NXT and AEW. I got to say it here. I know I said it on Friday. I think I might have mentioned it. No, I didn't say it on Friday. I wasn't here Friday. I said it on Monday. I got to say it here. Okay. The running joke while I was gone for vacation was that Malachi Black got out of his WWE no-compete clause in 30 days instead of 90 because WWE didn't update it. You know, if you went around everywhere, this is basically what you heard around or the net. I know it's generic sound effects. That's all I got right now. People are actually laughing at that. Oh, Aleister Black, he fucking put one over on WWE. He only had a 30-day no-compete, not a 90. How many places did you hear people laughing at that? Laughing at WWE, you morons, you idiots, you idiots. I'm going to throw a little curveball here, and nobody thought about. Actually, I did bring this up Monday because it was a solo show Monday, and I remember we did the poll. I asked everybody Monday, which contract do you think Aleister Black, Malachi Black made more money? Which promotion you think was paying him more? WWE or AEW? Right now. You think WWE was paying Aleister Black more than his contract with AEW right now? I tend to think so, and a majority of you on Monday felt the same way. He probably was making more money in WWE. And the reason why he would make less in AEW is because AEW gives him more freedom to make money outside of AEW. Social media, Twitch, you know, probably on Cameo if he's not there already. So he combined has the opportunity to make more money than WWE. But here's a little curveball. When all of these people for the last week were laughing at WWE, you morons, you never updated his no-compete clause. Well, this is what I have to say to all of them. That means that Aleister Black, Tommy N, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him, only got 30 days pay from WWE instead of 90. So when you laugh that Aleister Black got out of his no-compete for 30 days, that means he lost out on 60 days of WWE money. How funny is that now? Are you paying the difference of the money he could have gotten in WWE the last 60 days? See, my point is, Aleister Black, even if he was offered 90 days to sit at home and get paid, Aleister Black could have turned around and said, no, I want to work now. I want to go to AEW now. I want to do this now. And if that's his choice, I am 1,000,000% behind it. But to turn around and laugh to make it seem like WWE were morons to not update the no-compete, Aleister Black is the one losing out on money here. Because if AEW is paying him less, that's 60 days worth of WWE money that he does not get. So, yes, he's working, but if he's making less right now compared to what he would have made in that 60 days that he didn't get from WWE, I don't think it's a laughing matter. You know, if Aleister Black somehow got 90 days of money and only was out 30, that's different. Then we can laugh and say, wow, you fools. But the guy lost 60 days of WWE money. Just saying. You know, it's very easy to crack a joke at something when you don't think it through. Just like the Thunderdome stuff, you know? People rip the shit out of it. Now, because it's over, everybody's ripping the shit out. Well, what would you have done different the last 18 months? Nobody, I don't even have the answers. I don't have the answers. Still enjoy that Deli Man was on. That was fun, man. That was fun. So anyway, Dakota Kai beats Ember Moon yesterday. I'm a little concerned for Ember Moon, you know, especially when you hear Raquel Gonzalez, you hear it audible. Without Shotzi, you're nothing. And I'm like, you know, it could have very well have been a WWE writer saying that to Ember Moon instead of Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know what they're going to do with Ember Moon, but it feels like her and Shotzi had a great dynamic. They were a great team. And I just got this bad vibe that Ember Moon is not going to get anywhere remotely close to the push that she had before now that she's a singles again. Dakota Kai gets the win yesterday. Yeah, okay. You know, I still believe that seed is starting to plant with Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez. I think that will ultimately happen. What was odd, and I thought about this yesterday, is after the match is over, the lights go out. Xia Li hits the ring, and she walks up to Raquel Gonzalez. She wants a title shot. Raquel Gonzalez says yes, so they're now going to fight next week for the title. Now, first of all, yeah, I always remember Rocky 3, Thunderlips, and Rocky Balboa. And the way they did the cameras, Rocky was this tall and Hogan was this tall. That looked like nothing compared to Raquel Gonzalez and Xia Li yesterday. I kid you not. I mean, seriously, I don't have good props, but this might be a good comparison. If this is Xia Li, this was Raquel Gonzalez. This is how they looked face to face. Seriously. I don't even think Xia Li could do the roundhouse kick and reach Raquel's head. And I'm not trying to be funny here. I mean, Raquel Gonzalez is that much taller than Mercedes Martinez. I saw that yesterday and I'm like, okay, Mercedes Martinez is going to show up next week and maybe level them both. I honestly think that could happen. I think Mercedes Martinez may show up next week, try to give a receipt to Xia Li, and at the same time, she's not finished with Raquel Gonzalez. So would not be surprised if Mercedes Martinez gets involved in that match next week. I like the chat room when we have people pretending to be famous wrestlers. Legends. I am a huge Lance Storm fan, by the way. We had a few segments with Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. I told you last week they already recorded about a dozen segments. And the weird thing about it is when they're done, there's kind of like a little bit of a friendly dynamic with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. I don't think that'll come off that way on TV, but there is a lot of gold in some of these skits. First of all, Cameron Grimes gets a little bit groomed, gets a little bit of a haircut, his beard trimmed a little bit. But I love LA Knight basically telling Cameron Grimes to do a whole bunch of chores. So Cameron Grimes is basically subleasing, whatever you would call it, like subletting out to others. I don't know what the perfect way to, he was just hiring people to do his work, which is pretty fucking, whoever came up with that idea, that's pretty genius. I mean, for storyline purposes, that's almost as good as what they did tonight with Santana Ortiz, the fake crowbar, and Tully Blanchard. I like that. To the pool. I cannot believe that they won me over in Cameron Grimes. You don't understand. Nothing personal against this guy, but there's very few people over the years that I absolutely would do number 1, number 2, number 3 all at the same time when their matches are on TV. One is Baron Corbin, and it still is for the most part, but Cameron Grimes, there was nothing about the guy that I liked. Nothing. I don't know. They just never and for some reason, little by little, even though the Ted DiBiase stuff early on was a little bit annoying, they won me over. And Cameron Grimes, you could tell, is not used to being a over babyface, like decent over. And the first night where he technically cut a babyface promo, if you actually listen closely, he was actually using some heel terminology because I guess he wasn't expecting it. Number 3 is diarrhea. A lot of people don't know what number 3 is. Number 3 is diarrhea. That's for me, that is. When I was a kid, used the bathroom, my mom would be like, "You all right in there?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What number?" I said, "Number 3. You're cooking, Ma." So they did this segment, him cutting the grass yesterday, the pool. What was it? Raul, whoever it was. He hires somebody yesterday to do his work, gets laid out. I liked it. I liked it. Diamond Mine, you and I had a great laugh last week. It's not funny anymore. Unless Bobby Fish joins the group. Maybe we get Thatcher to join the group down the line. This is not working. And what we feared was true. We had the laugh last week. For anybody that didn't tune in last week, Arturo Ruas did an interview. You might remember about 2 weeks ago, we had some laughs on this show because I said that Diamond Mine was supposed to debut a lot sooner. And it just milked it, and then there was no promos for a couple of weeks, and then they milked it. And then they show up and they're wearing sweatsuits, and I'm like, you got one guy, nothing against Tyler Rust, but he looks like a jacked up James Ellsworth. I like Suzuki. I just don't know how he is going to acclimate to the WWE product and the Capitol Wrestling Center. He's going to tear it up with Kushida. We talked about that before. But they showed up. They didn't even explain why they were there. There was not even a promo. They're just standing there. And you might remember I said, it feels like, they were going to debut. Oh, we're going to put Ruas out there because Ruas was supposed to be part of it. If you remember my preview, I had him silhouette in the background. And I said, you almost feel like the weeks leading up to it, hey, man, are we supposed to debut Wednesday? And Creative in the back's like, yeah, but all right, I guess we'll debut next week. And Ruas in his interview pretty much said the same thing. He recovered from his injury. He was supposed to be part of Diamond Mine. They were supposed to debut, and then he heard nothing. And then he was asking people like, what's going on? Oh, he didn't say that, but he's like, oh, you just get anything, and then he got it released. Yesterday, Tyler Rust beating Bobby Fish. Didn't like it at all. The only thing that impresses me about Tyler Rust are his legs, the muscles in his legs. I'm like, you work out a little bit too much on your legs. I'm impressed. Don't get me wrong, I'm impressed. But 2 months from now, I want to see where this goes. And I truly believe Malcolm Bivens deserves so much more up until now. Maybe this does develop into something better. But man, Malcolm Bivens should have been so much further in NXT at this point. Sarray over Gigi Dolin. as I talked about earlier. That stiff drop kick looked brutal on TV, but, when you narrow it down, and as I said earlier on Cameo, if you go check it out, Gigi Dolin's on Cameo, $50, I think. Robert Stone is on Cameo, $50. There's some NXT stars that have been on Cameo this entire time. And what Priscilla Kelly, I think, does now, Gigi Dolin, is when she does Cameo, she'll say PK. She won't say Priscilla Kelly because she's now an NXT star, but their contracts are set up different and they can be on Cameo. You look at the price and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, Mike, I brought up Alexa Bliss a few times already. But again, if somebody wants to pay that money, who's telling them they can't? For me, I enjoy $800 a hell of a lot more in other ways. Trust me, the Cameo and the signed photo tomorrow is not $800. I think it's still very reasonable. I think people have fun. I will give you a hint. It's somebody that wrestled this week on TV. So you're going to get somebody decent. Santos Escobar over Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis, I've said for months, is my favorite NXT star. This storyline with Indy Hartwell is one of the worst storylines. And I know for romantics, they'll have the kiss finally and we'll all smile and this and that. I mean, children don't even do this. They don't tease each other for 4, 5, 6 months. After Dexter Lumis loses yesterday, Indy Hartwell tries to pick him up and carry him back, and she can't hold him that long. He's too heavy. So they both fall on the floor, and they're about to have a kiss. Candice LeRae pushes Indy Hartwell aside. And Dexter Lumis, looking like he's brain dead, he's like a sloth. I mean, I understand, his whole character is methodical and everything like that. But when he does moves, he runs the ropes at full speed. He doesn't go. But with her, he turns into like that sloth from the Geico commercial. She's like, and then she gets pushed aside and Candice LeRae's bringing her to the back and he's like, this is going on for how many months? It's getting to the point that if any of you out there got somebody pregnant at the beginning of the storyline, you're going to have your child. And they're still doing this stuff, teasing a kiss. This is, I don't even know what to call it. I freaking love Dexter Lumis's character. I like the storyline early on. The best part of it was when they went to the back and Indy Hartwell was like, that should have been it. That should have been it. But since then, it's going ass backwards. Duke Hudson beat Ikemen Jiro, first round of the NXT Breakout Tournament. As we talked about the last 2 weeks, or last week, Duke Hudson is, if you remember, Stinkin' Vink. Remember that team? He was originally supposed to be the protege for MVP, if you remember way back when. What the is that entrance music for Duke Hudson? I brought it up yesterday. That's like FM pop. It's not even a wrestling theme. It doesn't even have an Australia vibe to it. He comes out to a song that you would hear like in a grocery store, like on a pop station. I don't know what the hell that was. Jiro I like. He was trained by Dichiri, and he actually did the Tarantula yesterday is a little tribute to Jiri. He lost, but no, there's no worries with him. He's going to be teaming up with Kushida for a match or two in the very near future. That guy is going to instantly get over with the fans. No concerns about him. I'm still going with Carmelo Hayes to win it all. Still going with him to win it all. Pete Dunne with a little confrontation backstage with Timothy Thatcher. So we're probably going to get Oney Lorcan and Pete Dunne versus Ciampa and Thatcher. Not complaining about that. That actually is going to be pretty much fire. But, you know, it's revealing something, which we'll get into shortly. Kayden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro over Jessi, Kamea, and Aliyah. And that build up to the split of the Robert Stone brand finally took place yesterday. The last couple of weeks, Frankie Monet basically, you know, getting involved in the Robert Stone brand a little bit when Robert Stone kept looking the other way. Now I think what we may have is Robert Stone might be, like I said, abused. If you know what I mean. I don't mean like, you know, too much, but he is going to be at their mercy going forward if he still wants to be part of the group. Aliyah beats the crap out of Robert Stone, and the crowd loves it. Bish and I had a good laugh yesterday that Aliyah, we like Aliyah, but she doesn't have it all together as far as we have seen, where she could be a decent single star. Some people today were thinking that Mandy Rose going to NXT would result in Aliyah going to Raw or SmackDown. That's possible. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. Now, earlier in the night, during Sarray and Gigi Dolin's match, that's when Mandy Rose came out. She was scouting the match. Seemed a little bit impressed. Later on, she crossed paths with Frankie Monet. Makes the remark, as we said earlier, that Robert Stone brand is under new management, but some people interpreted it as Mandy Rose. No, I think she was talking about Frankie Monet. I want to see what they're going to do with Aliyah. I don't know. I've paid attention to some of her work. I don't know how far she can actually go right now. But obviously this, you know, changes us up a little bit. Is Mandy Rose going to join up with Frankie Monet? That is the question. I don't even know if that's the case. And again, as I said before, what happens to Dana Brooke? That's something to think about. Adam Cole coming out, cutting a promo, I told you so, bragging about beating Kyle O'Reilly. Earlier in the night, Kyle O'Reilly cutting a promo. You know, Kyle O'Reilly his promo was a little bit, you know, pre-recorded interview, you know, all over the place. You know, he won titles with the Undisputed Era. Like, it almost sounded like, you know, like the Undisputed Era held him back. But as he's cutting the promo and he's talking about the Undisputed Era, he had a lot of success with the Undisputed Era. So it ended up like, you know, oh no, I have it. I just got to find it. It was a little mess. A little bit of a mess. Adam Cole talking about no one was man enough to face him. Suddenly, Adam Cole doesn't care about the NXT Heavyweight title. But Bronson Reed quickly comes out. And again, this is the Nick Khan effect going on. Bronson Reed is probably one of the best examples of that. And Bronson Reed, even in his promo, said that, you know, a lot of people are talking about Bronson Reed. You don't know where he'll show up next. And he has a confrontation with Adam Cole. So it looks like we're going to see a little program with Adam Cole and Bronson Reed. Like I said, just because, and I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, just because somebody performs privately for Vince, I know that doesn't sound appropriate, but has a match, you know, in front of management and wrestles on main event, doesn't mean that they've already made the jump to Raw or SmackDown. Eventually they could. But this is Nick Khan's influence of utilizing people more by bringing them into other aspects of WWE rather than just having them off TV for multiple weeks. it creates a buzz. Bronson Reed had more buzz yesterday because of the two other matches outside of NXT. So it helps. Now, as I opened up with the show, Samoa Joe refereed Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano. And Samoa Joe with multiple segments yesterday, face-to-face with Pete Dunne once again. Walks into the training room where Kross is punching the punching bag, and he's telling Karrion Kross, he's giving him some rules of later on. You follow my orders, this and that. Karrion Kross is focused on the bag. So Samoa Joe hits the bag. And do I make myself clear? And Karrion Kross is basically like, stop fucking with me. But Samoa Joe says the very same things to Johnny Gargano. And Johnny Gargano, we told you a couple of weeks ago that they were priming Johnny Gargano as a babyface. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, they started priming everybody for Johnny Gargano as a babyface, and now it is in full effect. I'm still blown away at people who, up to 2 weeks ago, was still trying to convince me that Karrion Kross was not a heel. They were making him a tweener. Hopefully, after yesterday, I think you're convinced now that Karrion Kross is not a tweener as far as NXT goes. He is getting shitted on by the fans. For people that take this way too seriously, the fans are shitting on Karrion Kross, not because they don't like him personally, not because they think he sucks. He is a heel. That is it. Don't read too deep. If you don't talk like this about Roman Reigns, there's no reason to talk like this about Karrion Kross. I know what some of you saying, do not compare Roman Reigns to Karrion Kross. Roman Reigns is so much hot. My point is, when someone is a heel and people chant, you suck, the fucking heel is supposed to do. You're not supposed to be like, you suck, you really don't suck, but you suck, you really don't suck, but you suck, you really don't suck, but please, it's fucking wrestling. Just lighten up and just enjoy it. Karrion Kross beats the shit out of Gargano yesterday. Gargano would get a couple of reversals, counters, but in the end, Karrion Kross would always have the answer to it. During a commercial break, during this match, Karrion Kross just beat the balls off of Gargano. I tell you, I didn't like Gargano showing pictures of him in a movie theater today. You know, first time in a movie theater in a year and a half, I would have kind of sold this beatdown for an extra day or two. Or maybe just like not look so happy in the movie theater. You know, like I needed to go take in the movie after the ass kicking I got yesterday. First time in 16 months. But Samoa Joe, very fair as a referee. You know, was not trying to be a prick, was not trying to be, you know, a wise ass in any way, shape, or form, did his job. But after Kross defeats Gargano, shot from behind, that shot in the neck looks, trust me, you hit someone in the neck the right way, it'd be like, Karrion Kross chokes out Samoa Joe, leaves him laying. Now, we talked about this about 3 weeks ago. WWE had to be very careful about Samoa Joe. You have Samoa Joe choking out Adam Cole. Samoa Joe face-to-face with Pete Dunne. Samoa Joe having a little confrontation with Johnny Gargano. Samoa Joe having a confrontation with Karrion Kross. Samoa Joe like involved with like 6 different people. You better put his ass in the ring to wrestle. Because you keep teasing and teasing and teasing and teasing. It's going to get to a point where we're going to be people like, okay, stop this teasing shit. So obviously Samoa Joe is able to hit the ring again. And I am so looking forward to seeing Joe versus Kross, because the last time that I felt Kross had any momentum was against Keith Lee. And he looked great up against a big guy like Keith Lee. And I think Kross and Joe trading suplexes, getting physical. I mean, their offense is going to be very similar in a lot of ways. And Joe is so over with the fans right now because of everything that led up to this. I mean, the last thing we saw of him was wearing the poncho in the rain in WrestleMania. So Kross against Joe right now, yeah, you could kind of be a little concerned that NXT doesn't have any of their current superstars in any feud with Karrion Kross. But so what? So what? Right now, Samoa Joe is going to help solidify and intensify Karrion Kross as a heel even further. And, I don't even know if it's going to be for the title. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised if they end up doing something where Samoa Joe wants a match with Karrion Kross, no title on the line. Because Samoa Joe is not trying to become a champion. Samoa Joe is the enforcer for William Regal until he becomes the GM. So would not be surprised if William Regal makes the match, but there's no titles on the line. And I got news for you. Of course, you don't want Karrion Kross to lose, even if it's non-title, because Karrion Kross is still undefeated, I think, is a singles star. Didn't he lose that tag match with Balor that time? But he wasn't pinned. So if you really insisted that Joe beat Kross in this way, even if somebody is the cause of it, there's no title on the line. So Kross still has his belt. But I think, seriously, I think Joe versus Kross is going to be a hell of a lot better than people are anticipating. It's going to be really good. I can't wait. Now, there's some people that are, look, anything is possible. But there's some people out there that are like, nope, that's it. He's being stripped of the title. He's going to be on Raw or SmackDown next week. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, he's going to feud with Roman Reigns. As soon as Roman Reigns chokes out Edge, Karrion Kross is going to come out, fall in. Stop fantasizing. This isn't a video game. It's not the right time to bring Karrion Kross up to the main roster as a major star. Let him get his character set in stone. It's only been 3 weeks since he full-fledged went heel. You need more than 3 weeks. Give it time. There's no rush. I want to see Karrion Kross main event WrestleMania. Absolutely. But, I want to see it being done organically and being done because it fits and it feels right and it's working and it's leading to that. Not because people on social media insist on it. You don't do it for social media. So that's how we went off the air yesterday for NXT. A very good show. The only thing I didn't like about NXT yesterday was the confrontation with Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row. Man, I put my foot in my mouth when I gave all that love to AJ Francis up until last week. The last 7 days, they've made that guy look like a fool. It's not his fault, but they did that rap thing last week. AJ Francis had no business doing that rap stuff, and it was awful. Some people didn't like our views on it. I didn't say it was all bad. I thought Ashante Adonis did a fucking great job with it. Great job with it. But AJ Francis, keep him as an intimidating, 1-2 sentences, that's it. 1-2 sentences. That's all you need. He throws an insult. Yeah, keep walking. Your mother. I mean, I gotta say that on TV. AJ Francis is good for like 2 or 3 sentences. 1 or 2 insults. Everybody laughs. You owned him. And that's it. He's doing fucking multiple paragraphs last week that you feel like he's reading off a teleprompter. And then yesterday, I invite you, turn the volume all the way up. When you had Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row facing each other, just listen to AJ Francis. I mean, it was awful. Like, it was the lines were so generic and fed to him by WWE. It made him look like a goof. It made him look like a robot. And I tell you, WWE, they got something good with Hit Row. They're forcing this narrative. And, you know, people asked me yesterday, who's the babyface of this? Truthfully, I think Legado del Fantasma easily will be the babyface out of this. Because the Capitol Wrestling Center, you know, acknowledge how much Santos Escobar has done for them, especially during COVID and everything else. Santos Escobar is very well liked by that crowd. So I think Legado will be, by default, baby faces. All right, so that pretty much was both shows. So we're at 2 hours and 26 minutes. I am going to jet out of here. I answered everybody's super chats. We had a fun night tonight. I tell you, if you're a wrestling fan besides WWE, and you watched NXT and AEW the last 24 hours, I honestly cannot understand. If you didn't like the last 24 hours of wrestling, then I don't know what you will like. You know what I mean? Like, there was something for everybody. And man, what a pleasure to have not only the live fans back, but in that capacity, up close and personal, no restrictions. The wrestlers didn't feel like they were in a nuclear zone. They brawled into the crowd. They went around ringside. You know, it's just, it felt, put it this way. If you didn't follow AEW and I recorded today's episode and played it for you and said that that happened before COVID, you would say, yeah, I believe you. It really, truly, I mean, we had live fans at WrestleMania. We had live fans at the AEW pay-per-view. We've had some live fans in some capacity on Dynamites for a while, you know, but there was always, you know, like a little extra barricade. You had friends and family at ringside, and the first row of real fans was all the way up here. And this, tonight really was the first night that I felt like I was watching a show that, as if COVID never existed. Thank you, Marvin, for the kind words. I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who is still hanging out tonight. Chris Segovia, Darren Gordon Hill, Martin, as I said, Charlie Conway, Austin Nance, King of Hueco Mundo, Sam, and a bunch of others, Christopher Travers. So I'm going to jet out of here. So again, tomorrow night, we got Q&A, AMA, TNA, live calls tomorrow. So start thinking about what you want to call in and talk about. You know, just keep your questions, you know, right to the point so we can get into as many as possible. Again, the contest tomorrow is going to really involve the comment section on the page. You know, we want to make it a little bit interactive for everyone. But the prize, I already know who I'm choosing. But the prize is going to be a cameo and a signed photo by a particular wrestler. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I start live tomorrow at 10:05 p.m. Eastern. So if you'd like to join me, it would be my honor to host a little bit tomorrow with you. We'll talk about anything. Doesn't have to just be wrestling. Remember, Thursdays, we talk about everything. Anything that's on your mind. And I think I've pretty much assured everybody by now that the vibe when you tune in live is such a good vibe that you don't have to feel embarrassed about asking something. You don't have to feel like you can't take a viewpoint about something. Nobody is going to put you down. Nobody's going to bash you. Nobody's going to make fun of you. You know, there's such a diverse bunch of viewpoints over here, and that's what I wanted. Now, a lot of you have been asking about the Discord page. I apologize. Since I went away for 5 days, I couldn't finish up everything I wanted to do. So tomorrow in the community section over here, I'm going to put another invite up. It's going to be good for like 25 or 50 invites. Maybe I'll do 50. I don't know. We're already up to almost 200 people there. But I haven't truly launched it 100% yet. So it's still not really active. But this weekend, we are going to launch it finally. And we're going to be adding a lot of stuff to it as well. And the Discord channel is just for everybody here on YouTube. So this way you have a place where you can chat with each other when the shows are not live. And there's some of you out there that really enjoy having some great conversations. So I hope you can join me tomorrow, 10:05 p.m. And we'll have a fun show. And then Friday, SmackDown, live SmackDown. We'll see if Sasha Banks shows up. Some people are thinking Becky Lynch. Some surprises. Live fans. We'll see what goes on. And I'll give you my Money in the Bank predictions. We'll give you Slammiversary for those who asked for it. We'll talk about ratings when they come out. I didn't get an NXT rating yet. I should have it tomorrow with AEW's. So everyone, have a great night. Much love as always. Big shout out. And, I got to start doing this at the beginning of the show. Eddie, I made sure I put your name before I went live tonight. But a big shout out to La Nostra Familia. Big shout out to our great channel members here on YouTube. By the way, that video that I have up over here, when I explain, if you sign up as a channel member, this is what you get. I'm going to be updating that next week because now since I'm starting to put up retro audio up as well, that's something that I originally did not have in the video. And, we tweak a couple of things here and there. But honestly, I know there's so many people out there that have memberships and all they give you are emojis, and that's it. So I try to, give you a little bit more than that. We got Q&As, shout-outs, emojis, contests, retro audio. So much love. And the only reason why the top list goes faster is because there's more names, obviously. La Nostra Familia is a very, very small, tight-knit community. But La Nostra Familia means my great family, our great family. La Nostra Familia. That's Italian for my great family. So the only reason why I used the Italian is because of the Don Tony character. The John Gotti shirt and all that stuff. That's why I came up with that. I'll start using English if I need to. So anyway, everyone be well. Much love. Have a great night. Once again, our thoughts and prayers with the family, friends, relatives of Paul Orndorff who passed away. Nice AEW paying a little, respect by mentioning him. WWE, Raw was taped on Monday. That's why there was no 10-bell salute. I don't know what they're going to do on Friday. Personally, I don't think there's going to be a 10-bell salute with everybody on the stage, especially the first SmackDown back with live fans. I don't think you want to start off with a 10-bell salute, to be honest with you. What I think will happen is maybe a third or halfway through the show, we'll have Michael Cole and Pat McAfee mention the passing of Paul Orndorff, and we'll have a video package. The only thing is, I don't expect that video package, if they air one, I don't think they'll include the footage of, "Get your hands off me, you fat pig, you slob. Don't ever touch me again." Can't do that in 2021. Oh, no. No. Where's my video? Everyone, have a great night. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow night, 10:05 p.m. I promise you it'll be a kick-ass show. So everyone, there was something I needed to say too. I can't remember. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.